Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khushamdi. Ji ayanu. Goedemorgen.
Pakhairagale, ni hao, chunushubme, washwale, ohio gozaimus, privyet, olaf, boyor, kaifa haluka, halashuma chatore, alal masal marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabiap, and bhal kare aya, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PT World, who are watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. And Shiza, before I ask you today how you are, there's this wonderful thing which I actually had to mention today, and which was Bhal Kare Aya, ladies and gentlemen, or Bhali Kare Aya. So, ladies and gentlemen, I actually got a post on my fan page. It wasn't on the fan page of The Morning Show as well. So, somebody watched our show and it got more than 100,000 views as well. And then they were, and the person got back to me saying that, you say hellos and highs in almost every regional or provincial language within Pakistan. Why don't you say welcome in Sindhi? So yeah, bhala kare aaya sahi, bhala kare aaya dadu sutua. So ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome, and I think that the feedback actually keeps us on our toes too as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, that particular gentleman who actually sent in this feedback.
Well, that's amazing.
How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely great. Thank you so much for asking. But Shahzad, it's so nice of you to be this considerate, because ladies and gentlemen, for all of you watching from all different parts of Pakistan and different parts of the world as well, we do not intentionally leave out any sort of greetings or any sort of things that we talk about. So sometimes we really don't, we're not that knowledgeable, to be honest. So like this gentleman, if you have any, reservations or queries, do write to us so we can incorporate your ideas into our show as well, because this is not just Shahzad and me coming to your screens every morning. I want this to actually be inclusive. I want your feedback to be a part of our show as well regularly.
What did you eat early in the morning today?
Extra coffee, man.
Well, that's great. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, over here in Islamabad, the weather is superb. It's a little bit sunny, but it's a little bit chilly as well. And then at the same time, it feels like as if entire Islamabad took shower last night.
Oh, yes.
And looks wonderful. The plants, the greenery, everything is so fresh that you have no idea. I mean, I got the best adrenaline rush coming towards work today. And yeah, you can pretty much experience that as well. So
absolutely. And the place where you live, I feel like that is now the prettiest place of Islamabad.
Yeah.
And well, we're going to be neighbors soon as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that just because you will
So
be
excited.
moving to next to my place,
Inshallah.
I think it's going to be great too as well. And if there's anything I can help you with, do let me know.
Thank you.
Because
So sweet.
I have this one truck sort of a car where we can actually move things. And so, if you need any help, I can do that.
Oh, thank you
That's
so much for
perfectly
saying
all right. But
that.
other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is how we would want to start our day today, ladies and gentlemen, on the 20th of February. It is a very important day. Why? That's something which we will let you know.
Absolutely.
But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that, just because of my color, or just because of my race, or just because of my religion, I'm not treated equally. I think that this is something which will be very disheartening for me. This is something which will break my urge to live my life to the fullest.
Absolutely. And Shahzad, when these type of discriminations actually are on the rise, it's not just, people dealing with each other in daily life. It can even happen at workplaces, even at your schools, colleges. I really, really, really hate to begin my, day on this note, but no names, a colleague of mine, was actually recently so very upset because they were told to apply a fairer makeup to appear on screen to appear better looking. You know what I mean? I really don't want to use the mean words that were used with him as well. But here's the thing. We are today looking at all sorts, all sorts of, discriminations or inequalities that take place in different segments of the society. There is no standard on which even your God created human beings, right? He didn't say that, hey, this is the standard and anyone coming up to this standard is going to be the perfect human, my favorite. No, there are going to be so many differences, and we need to accept and then respect those differences as well.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, Islam, the religion of peace and humanity. Even in our holy book, it is being said कि किसी अरबी को अजमी पर और किसी काले को गोरे पर कोई किसी भी किस्म की कोई बर्तरी हासिल नहीं है. So I think that this is one thing which everybody needs to understand. But unfortunately, I don't know how, where, and when we went wrong. But obviously, the blame is not on this generation particularly. It can go back to our parents or to their parents as well.
Yeah.
But I think that somewhere something did go wrong.
Yeah.
And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that, where we're living in a society where everybody is treated equally, everybody's given their rights, everybody's getting, education for free, whatever our constitutional fundamental rights are. And not just that, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, that, this is a research which says that if the lowest tier within the community, out of 100%, imagine that 40% of the people are going to get jobs or start earning, it will actually bring forth communal integrity as well. And imagine that people from those downtrodden segments, if they'll start to work, they will actually generate quite a lot for the economy too. So I think that these are the things which we need to understand.
Absolutely.
And for poverty eradication, I think that social justice is very important. So today, on the 20th of February, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually observing World Social Justice Day. And it started back in 2009, but it was on the paper in 2007. And then obviously, moving on, I think that from 2009, if we are to speak about 2020, not much has changed. And I think that everybody needs to do quite a lot within their own capacity to make sure that social justice prevails within this society.
Right, absolutely. And Shazad, when you're looking at the fact that it was actually officiated by the United Nations in 2009 and well conceptualized by ILO back in 2007, you rightly mentioned, don't you feel like, as humans, because the race is going on for more than thousands of years, aren't we too late to actually observe a day for social justice?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know how to say it, but we're still observing the day. This not much is going to change, and this is something which actually gives me a lot of pain. It gives me a lot of grief as well. Imagine that, there are workers who work at our places as well. We might not be paying ourselves them the salary which we are required to pay to them. Or not just that, there's bonded labor as well, there's child harassment going on, and there's so many things which we really need to put our heads to as well. And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I'm going to bring this up today, and it's because of the fact that we have some amazing lawyers over here. So I think that judiciary actually needs to step up too as well, to make sure that there's social justice. Not just that, even when we talk about justice, even if because justice delayed is justice denied, ladies and gentlemen, we really need to introduce systems with which we can actually make sure that that the work is being done swiftly and probably at the convenience of the people as well. So ladies and gentlemen, to discuss social justice, what we need to do is that we need to discuss social injustices in the first place, and then we'll move on towards how do we actually attain social justice within the community.
Right, absolutely. We need to identify the inequalities going on. But before we introduce our guests, ladies and gentlemen, to explain you a little better about today's, the theme and topic for this year, let's take a look at this amazing report that one of our team members made, and then we come back and talk about it.
Let's do this.
So the 2 hours thoughts are the same. Equity is about promoting fair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, just because of a teeny weeny technical issue, we actually had to come back. So we'll definitely share it once again with you as well, once we've sorted the audio out. But ladies and gentlemen, to discuss social justice and injustices within our own society and community, we have some amazing people over here. They're very happy to be lawyers in the first place, and that's great. So ladies and gentlemen, first up we have Saida Kashmala, who's a lawyer herself. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Good morning to you as well. I'm sorry about my voice.
I hope you feel better.
Thank you very much for joining us alongside Saida Kashmala. Ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by somebody who's the attorney at law, member IBA, which is the International Bar Association. He's none other than Chaudhry Hamid Latif Saab. Hello, assalamu alaikum, Chaudhry Saab, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, yeah, alhamdulillah, yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you alongside Chaudhry Saab. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we've been joined by a lawyer. She's none other than Miss Fatima Butt. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Bilkul theek thaak. It felt like as if, one of my friends actually said, "Haan bhai, kya haal hai?" Main theek hu bilkul. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, we've actually been joined by another lawyer as well, and she's none other than Miss Sidra Ishaq. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. So let's get started. I think, Saida, we're going to get started with you. Let's talk about the social injustices which we see every single day while living our lives.
There are so many things. If you just start with anything, it would take ages to talk about.
All right.
But as you pointed very rightly, that it took so many years to talk about it. Why we started it 2009?
Right.
Why didn't we started it when the last sermon happened? When the Prophet ﷺ said that there should not be any difference because of color, creed, or anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We as a Muslim, or being in an Islamic state, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing we should be doing.
Exactly.
But we are the ones who are completely forgetting that, and we are the ones who are going against his teachings. And it's very difficult for every human being, starting from females. We
Right.
have different gap, we have salary gaps, we have inequality of every kind. As you mentioned, we have problems because of someone color as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
that's the issue. We have problems because of minorities. We have problems because of someone's caste even. That oh ये तो सैयद है इसलिए ये ज़्यादा बेहतर है.
Exactly.
Oh ये तो फलां है इसलिए ये नहीं है. That's the problem with our society. If we start giving everyone equally, we start treating everyone equally, what would be the outcome of it?
Right, right.
It would benefit us, because if everyone get equal opportunity, all the talent, we have this abundance of talent that would be there to help us out, to grow us.
That is absolutely right, and I think all of us together should come on the same page to, you know, rise. But moving on to you, I want you to identify the social injustice that you feel like are going on in our society contextually, keeping in mind the theme for this year, closing the inequalities gap to achieve social justice.
It is, no doubt, is a great respect for the society and the humans all over the world. And not in Pakistan, all over the world, the social injustice everywhere. While we talk about Pakistan, if we say is a discrimination at jobs,
Okay.
this is one of them. And the most going nowadays, is too much is going on social media.
Oh,
The
of course.
discrimination on the social media too.
Yeah.
This is deemed to be a new one. The day changes, the technology changes.
Yeah.
You need to be involve yourself, not only the judiciary, everyone involved to eliminate this type of discriminations, because social media is direct media now. Before it was called indirect media, now it is direct media. Having full emphasizes on this, we are the people, you know.
Right.
If you don't want to evict out these things, to get rid of these things, this injustice becomes from social injustice to natural injustice.
Absolutely.
Natural injustice to criminal injustice. And all this collaborating together, it's one, this is a club together.
Okay.
It ends with the criminology.
Okay,
That's
sir,
why we have to.
I'm sorry that I'm barging in as well, but I think I have a disagreement over here, because as a matter of fact, what I believe is that social media is actually, even if it is direct media or indirect media, but I think that it has helped everybody make aware of what's going around within the community, because, you know, it's a very intangible platform, and when we speak about intangible platforms, you know, they cannot really do injustice with anybody. It's people putting up their own information and news, so I don't think that it's injustice to anyone. But what I would refer to over here is that, you know, whenever we speak about social injustices, imagine that yesterday I had a kid in my gym who was just putting up, his job is to lift weights and put it back where they were supposed to be. And he came up to me and he was like, I've passed my bachelor's, I've always passed my test, but I don't know why, you know, I always fail in my interviews, because I do not have anybody to call for me, or anybody, you know, or a name to back me up. Now imagine, don't you think that that's a social injustice? It is
This
a
is a
social
big one.
injustice.
This is a big one.
But where do you think social media has done it wrong? It's not the social
No,
media.
I'm not saying done it wrong, but it's
Okay.
a part of coming, you know, to involve itself people.
Okay.
Are you
Why
saying
is
it's a platform for people to actually voice injustices?
You can say voice injustice, but totally, because the word is social is a broad based.
Exactly.
When you discuss the word social, it becomes everyone to involve in.
Yeah.
And here, although it finishes the discriminations of the gender, race, religion, ethnic, and whatever.
Right.
But even then, when you see the social media, you can come with the things that something is going injustice on these things too.
Absolutely. All right, now moving on to you, Fatma, I want you to explain it better to all the laymen out there and for people like me as well. When we have assigned a special day, Social Justice Day, who are we seeking justice from? It's not the institutional judiciary. Then what do we expect it? Like, who do we expect it from?
I think it is the society which has to ensure that justice is available to everyone.
By society, you mean people like us?
Yes, everyone.
Okay.
When a right is available to somebody, he also has some duties. Okay. When we talk about rights, then duties are side by side. Mostly people think that like I have right and they it is easy for them to violate the rights of other people.
Right.
So there is the role which society has to play, that we should not discriminate or infringe the right of other people.
Absolutely.
So I think instead of going to judiciary, it is first the responsibility of the member of the society to ensure that injustice never happens.
Wow, that's great, and I think that you beautifully said that as well. But let me move on to Sidra very quickly. Now, Sidra, I have a very different question from you. I do not want you to highlight what social injustices are, but there's this one thing which I would want to ask you. Now, imagine, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just trying to, pinpoint injustices one by one. So imagine that, every other woman who gets married within Pakistan, she's not given the right of khula. And that particular piece where on Nikah Nama you're supposed to give her that right is just cut by all of those Maulvis who are actually out there. I don't know whether it's good or not. That's not the kind of conversation. But imagine that we are making sure that people do not get the right they have, even according to the Constitution. What are we doing? Are we even raising our concerns? Are we even raising our voices to do that?
Actually, what's happening in the society, basically, it's come on gender discrimination. Gender discrimination start within the house. Even you have seen that parents starting treating their daughters differently from their boys. They do it, and then it started within the families, within the households, and when it's come on wedding, and the right of divorce, which is basically mentioned on Nikah Nama, is cut by even the parents of the daughters, parents of the daughters. They do it by themselves. Our own parents don't give us this right. Why society would give us?
Exactly.
So social justice prevails within the house on the micro level. Then it goes to the nation to nation.
Exactly.
So first we need to exercise this within the house. Then we can expect it from the society, from the nations, and on global level, on international level.
Exactly,
No, I
that's
do
great,
agree
and I
with
think
that.
that you've given a wonderful example.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that as well. Of course, it starts at a very micro level and then it expands to levels that we can't control anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about injustices to different segments of the society, it's not just gender-based. It's such a vast thing that we need to talk about, and I don't feel like we can do justice to it. Imagine, Shahzad, we're talking about segments who have who are differently abled, who need special needs to continue their lives with. We are talking about widows, we're talking about divorcees, we're talking about the stigmas attached to people who have been violated or people who have been, wronged throughout their life for no specific reason.
Exactly.
So these are all the things that we will be highlighting. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, and not just that, ladies and gentlemen, since I've said that I'm going to pinpoint injustices one by one, so imagine that there are still places and villages where I have been to myself that when a daughter gets married, so all she's going to get is that particular things which we consider dowry, and after that she cannot actually ask for whatever her father has left behind. And it's because of the fact that people over there say that, when you got married, we've given you so many things, so now you do not have any right or any kind of share with us within the property as well. So imagine that we are actually making sure that people out there are going to do it by themselves because of the fact that everybody wants another extra piece of land, but they're not going to give it to their sisters. Isn't it a social injustice?
It's so unfortunate, Shahzad. It's really, and it's so true. You very rightly said that there are so many segments dealing with it that we don't even know of. And where we spoke about how women should actually have, the religion actually does bestow the right of, khula or all sorts of these rights related to nikah to women. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you, whoever is interested, to go watch this, a very detailed documentary created by Nigat Dad, which explains all the rights a woman has before she signs her nikah nama. Right now, we do have a report for you to understand better the day for social justices and identifying injustices. Let's take a look at it and then come back.
And when you guys will come back, we're actually going to ask all of these amazing lawyers over here that, for example, if there's somebody who experiences social injustice within the community, can they actually go to the court and can they actually file a complaint against anybody if it's a social injustice? Let's do that.
Is different to equality, though the two are often thought to be the same. Equity is about promoting fairness. The aim of equity is to achieve equality in outcome, not in the method to achieve it. In health promotion, equity revolves around the achievement of a good level of health for all, which means that each person is given the same amount of control over their own health in order to achieve good health. For health promotion, this means that the resources are not distributed evenly or equally. Instead, they are distributed in such a way that promotes equity. That is, more is given to people who need more in order to achieve the same. Centrelink and Medicare are examples of equity in action. Diversity in health promotion means the valuing of people for who they are and ensuring that health promotion meets their needs and is delivered in an appropriate manner. Diversity exists in income, location, cultural background, physical and mental abilities, knowledge, language, history, and much more. In order for health promotion initiatives to work, they need to take into account the diverse nature of the target audience. For example, health pamphlets need to be in the languages of the people who need to read them. Supportive environments is both a principle of social justice and one of the 5 action areas of the Ottawa Charter. It includes the physical, social and online environments and seeks to create the environment in such a way that the healthier choice is the easiest choice. For example, creating 50-kilometre-hour zones in suburbs helps to create an easy choice for the driver to stay below the speed limit and improve the safety of those in that area.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small report to actually let you know or make you more aware about what social justice is and what equality is and what equity is and how we really need to differentiate amongst all of these things as well. But now very quickly, I think what we need to do is that we need to talk about how social justice can be attained within a community. Now, whenever we speak about social justice, what we need to do is that we really need to look forward to examples within the world, obviously, where there might be nations who've actually made sure that there's going to be equality, that there's going to be social justice within the communities for people. So whether, you know, all of these amazing lawyers who are over here with us, and I think that it's the lawyer's job as well to give a reference. So, you know, let's talk about it. Have you ever witnessed any nation where you think that, you know, they're actually moving towards making sure that there's social justice within their country, within the communities, and on every tier as well? Let's start with you.
Let me start with something we have talked about before, about the families and how we are doing it wrong.
Right.
As we have talked that there is a right of delegated divorce, but nobody knows about it.
Okay.
Because we don't aware our kids, our nation, our female, how to get that right. How would one proceed to a court if he doesn't even know what his rights are?
Absolutely.
And if you end up going to a court, there is this dilemma attached to our families. If I'm going to get married and I'm going to ask my parent that I want this right of delegated divorce, the first thing they are going to tell me that you're not even married yet and you're asking for a divorce.
Yeah.
They won't consider it as your right.
Absolutely.
So we need to aware people that if it's coming in the ambit of social justice,
Okay.
it's about your right. It's not about infringing someone else's right.
Yeah.
So it's just about awareness. We need to tell people. You have talked about property rights. We are not even letting our children the right of education. This is a long debate if she's getting a right in a property, but she's not even, they're letting their male kids to go to school, they're not letting their female kids to go to school.
All
That's the problem, that's where the problem starts.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Shazad, you know, before we actually watched this report, you spoke about how if there are things going on, wrong things going on in our society, as a citizen, where should we actually go to, you know, to seek justice or to ask people that this is my right, where do I need to take it from? Just a small example, moving on to you, sir. Just recently, there was a festival going on in Islamabad where a lot of people were unfortunately violated in so many ways I don't want to talk about. It just puts me off so much. But here's the thing. Constitutionally, do people belonging to different genders have equal rights to recreation, equal rights to public entertainment? And if they're not given that, where should we go to?
Yeah, again, there, you know, is very amazing and interesting in Pakistan especially. Social justice belongs to the society.
Right.
We have no preparations, if you have no backup, no knowledge in the schools,
Okay.
in the colleges, in the universities. This is mostly a cultured society things. Being a Muslim, we all, you know, we are more cultured than any other people of the world. But we are not observing exactly the substance of the social things.
Okay.
And that when social injustice happens, like you just discussed about the Islamabad event, that one, firstly we have to eliminate in own self society by educating the people.
Okay.
Once it happens, as you told, you know,
Yeah.
once it happens, it becomes the type of proceeding to the courts.
Okay.
Or like when injustice starts, it means a criminal offense starts.
Of course.
When it attacks with the law things, we must approach to the administration of the the part of that province.
All right.
For example, in Islamabad, you can access to the local police.
Okay.
But it goes on with the things, and it again comes here with the law things that reconciliation evolves.
Okay.
Once we start with the things, when you have to, say, type of reconciliation with the parties, and even some happens with the brutal things, even then you have to do with the end of
Right.
with the injustice.
All right. That is you actually very rightly explained that as well. But, we have over here in terms of, justice being served, innocent until proven guilty. And because of this, a lot of criminals that we all know of are living freely. And people who have been victimized by them are actually living each and every single day of their life with this fear, that, okay, this has happened to me once and the person is at large, it can happen to me again. So this approach, innocent until proven guilty, what are we saying about this?
It's the basic principle of law that if we accuse someone that someone has committed this offense, so it's the right of the person that he should be given right for fair trial.
Okay.
So I agree with this that there are some criminals who commit crimes and they move freely.
Right.
But sometimes it happens that we falsely accuse someone of committing crime. So the basic principle of law, like innocent until proved guilty.
Yes.
The basic idea behind is that if there is any kind of doubt, that then the person should be given right for fair trial, and he must have some right to access to justice. He should be given time to prove his innocence. So there are some good points of this principle, but some people have really misused this
Exactly.
principle.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you very much for saying that. And I'm just speaking my heart out, no offense to anybody. I don't think कि कानून को अंधा होना चाहिए. I think that everything needs to be very visible. Everything needs to be transparent. Yes, कानून को transparent होना चाहिए. कानून के अंदर, whenever we talk about law, I think that law should be one thing which everybody should be like that, okay, it is my right, I can go to that particular
And
court
we should
and
have
it will
faith
be,
in it.
and it will be that way. But for Sidra, I have a very different question. Sidra, let's see whether we can do justice to this or not. Now imagine almost in every household, and you've mentioned this as well, I think Fatma Bhatt Sahib has mentioned that as well. Imagine that when it's a family of one brother or four sisters, just like that, just imagine. And that's how our community works as well. That brother is always praised quite a lot. Those daughters, ever since they're growing up, even they get so acquainted with the entire situation that they are the ones looking after their brother, as a sister too as well.
Right.
But then at times, when there's something which a brother wants and it's being given to him, is the situation is not same with the daughters. Now imagine that this is us starting social injustice at our very own houses, and at a very younger age with those kids who really do not know what to do. How do you think that we're going to make aware those parents, especially, and those kids who are actually a part of such families where there is social injustice?
Where they start believing that this is normal.
Yeah.
Basically, we should conduct seminars
Okay.
in schools where mother of such children are going and visiting, and PTMs are arranged. There should be awareness seminars for them.
Okay.
We should be telling them and telling them that both are equal.
Yep.
Okay.
And the government has initially taken a step that any female who is not being given a right of share in inheritance, she can go to ombudsman and take inexpensive justice through
Alright.
an ombudsman.
Alright.
She can file a complaint in ombudsman and she can take her share from the ombudsman. A very inexpensive justice available. The government has recently basically they provided this opportunity to
Okay.
females to get inexpensive
Is
justice.
it for
this way.
females only?
For the females who are not taking justice, who are not taking shares in the inheritance of their parents from their brothers.
All right.
They can go to ombudsman and they can file a complaint, and ombudsman free of cost without any lawyer will entertain that complaint, and they will take their part from their brothers and will definitely hand over as per the Sharia law.
Well, that's
Alright.
thank you very much for saying that. But let me ask you, I think that it's going to get more interesting now. So does women lawyer get paid as much as a male lawyer gets paid? Let's start from here. For all of those people who are the law keepers, who are the ones who are actually going to protect the law, are over here in the studios with us, and I'm going to ask them upright, whether female lawyers are paid the same amount as a male lawyer or not? And what have you done about it if it's not? Let's start with you.
Payment comes at the next stage. Most of the people don't come to a female lawyer because of her being a female.
Yeah.
No matter how good work you have done, they would prefer कि नहीं नहीं यार criminal का काम है ये लड़की कैसे करेगी.
Exactly.
They doesn't care how good you are. The judge is not going to see if a male is proceeding with the case. He's just going to see the facts of the case.
Absolutely.
But a male would not prefer to go to a female, and then, like, sadly, we
I
have
liked how you were politically so correct that the judge is actually just going to check the facts and not the male or the female.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
yeah, and we have this very saddening thana culture where most of the thanas have this commitment to some specific lawyers. They would, any case when they come to them, they would refer it to that some male lawyer.
Because
So
there's
go
a
to-
percentage which will go to them as well.
Yeah, they would suggest that we are going to make.
And Chaudhry Sahab smiling all this. I think he's seconding whatever she's saying. Yeah.
Maybe it's I mostly deal with the criminal work, so that's why that's my experience. It maybe differs. Yeah, females prefer family cases to get to a female, but if
Right.
a male is holding them, if male is caretaker, he wouldn't want a female to proceed her female's case unless there are some things he's ashamed of to be represented. We have these things that we don't want our female things to be said in front of a male.
Okay.
Then he would prefer a female lawyer.
Okay.
Otherwise, he would think that a male can proceed better.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, pay comes in the next stage. They wouldn't opt a female lawyer
In the first place.
Yeah.
All right. So, in terms of a yes or no, so is it a yes or a no that women and men are equally paid?
They are not.
Okay. Thank you so much for
Well,
saying
let
that.
me ask.
I-
Let's ask all of them as well. Choice, what
Alright.
about you? Are they paid
Yeah.
equally? Yes or no? That's it.
Yeah, yes or no?
Yeah,
Because
no,
I want
no.
to change the question.
Yeah,
No.
she's
Fatma?
right. Yeah.
I disagree to some extent. If we see, like, we have very good female lawyer like Asma Jahangir.
Yeah.
She was doing very well. And
Don't name 3 out of 200.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's
be
the
careful of
thing.
that.
Yes, yes,
We can't
I agree.
talk
agree
about
with you.
exceptions.
But you know, we have to struggle a lot. We have to prove ourselves first that we are competent enough to fight for our client. And when we prove ourselves, then people are, of course, ready to pay you. Okay, so that's why we have examples like Asma Jahangir. People were trusting her so much. Even she has so many male clients,
I
and
mean,
they
a
were
lady who was ready to take a bullet in front of hundreds and thousands
course,
of
she was
people is an
amazing,
exception.
amazing, of
And
course.
you know, not just that. So Fatma, I think I'll correct you, even though I'm not a lawyer. That is that every time I've seen a female lawyer, it has to be an associate to another male lawyer as well. You know, let's be very factful over here.
important.
But not just that, ladies and gentlemen. I even want to talk about doctors. That recently, Umar Sharif Saab's daughter actually
Yeah.
passed away. You know, they spent 3.5 million rupees on the treatment. And guess what? Yeah, so it was on the doctors' end, was because of the fact that they were being negligent. Don't you think that's social injustice? It is. You
is,
know,
of
not
course.
everybody can even go to a hospital to get themselves treated. Every time you need to get an appointment from a government doctor or a doctor who actually works for a public hospital, you really need to ask somebody to call him so that you can get an appointment. Don't you think
Right.
that's social injustice? Everybody who wants to get a job, he needs to get somebody on the phone to get that particular job. Don't you think it's social injustice? Nobody's paid equally. Don't you think that's social injustice?
I do
Whoa.
agree with that. Absolutely. That all is social injustice. And Shazad, adding to that, again, I'm going to talk about a very unfortunate incident. This happened over past 3 days. A 14-year-old girl got pregnant by being raped over and over again by 4 men. And upon, this case being revealed, the family, along with the father, honor killed the 14-year-old pregnant girl. Now, we are, of course, officially a religious state, but we are theoretically religious because if we were to look at Islam, people who honor kill, people who rape, people who violate, all have punishments. Now, you working in the system, what are the punishments of these people? Do these people even, deserve to, let's say, be called human?
No, because what is a very saddening thing, is really saddening. And if we are here being a Muslim, if we can cry here is a small thing,
Okay.
what you are talking. What is the disaster in my country? There is no good system of punishments. Every injustice is going on. Why? Whether it's social, not social, whatever it is, injustice means that there is no system of punishment here.
Yeah.
very sorry to say, being all we lawyers here,
Yeah, yeah.
we defend people
Hmm.
for what? We know he's a criminal. Well, many other countries, I used to travel in the country, you know, I met some lawyers, not in Europe, in some other countries.
Okay.
They say, if he's a criminal, the lawyer will say, I'm sorry, in the court.
Of course. Hmm.
But why not here?
Yeah.
I had many posts, I'm a writer for some things like that. I wrote many things that, what has happened, there's a rape case.
Yeah.
I wrote, someone will take the share in hospital, the medical report, the lawyer will take his share, other one takes shares, the police, the Thana things, they take,
a business.
and everything's finished. We are mourning here, you know, we are mourning things.
Exactly.
हमें तो ताज़िया करना पड़ रहा है,
Absolutely.
हमें तो मातम करना पड़ रहा है.
Absolutely.
And you know, it's a crying, and you know, when you lay on the bed at night, you think these things, you know, it's inhuman, you know.
It is, of course, of course.
And you know, I think I'll be honest over here, and yeah, I might have to pay the price for being honest as well. But imagine, ladies and gentlemen, just very recently, you know, we got to know that, you know, there was a larger number of politicians who were actually very fraudulent within their activities while they were in the relevant ministries, and all of a sudden when the new government came in, you know, majority of the people were behind the bars. But hey, guess what? Where are they today? Well, nobody knows, because they're outside the bars too as well. In fact, they're outside the country. Isn't it social injustice to the entire nation?
Exactly,
It is.
exactly. And with their names being on the ECL, it's just beyond my, you know, understanding how this is possible as well. But ladies and gentlemen, just to, you know, for people who like to understand things on a lighter note, we actually have a movie trailer for you guys, which is going to explain how in the actual realm social injustice are taking place in front of us. Let's take a look at it.
Let's do it.
Something for my godson Elijah and a little girl named Corinne.
Man, you coming at me for my music, but you listen to this old stuff.
Old stuff? What? You better get up out of here with all that. Pocket's the truth.
Garden Heights. Mama and Daddy says our life is here because our people are here. We got Mr. Rubin's barbecue, Mr. Lewis's barbershop, and Daddy's store.
The high school is where you go to get jumped, high, or pregnant. We don't go there. Williamson is another world, so when I'm here, I'm Star version 2.
Yo, those kicks are lit.
Basically, Williamson Star doesn't give anyone a reason to call her ghetto, and I hate myself for doing it. Until the weekend comes around.
I get those goosebumps every time.
What's up? Where you been at? Man, I know you be hanging with all the white kids.
Yeah, when you're not around, we go that
Out of the car.
Yo, Star, you okay?
Go back where he told you. Khalil, I'm not playing. Go back where... What did you do?
Today, Garden Heights is reeling after the shooting of a 17-year-old black teenager by a white police officer.
We live in a complicated world.
It doesn't seem that complicated to me.
Violence, brutality. It's the same story, just a different name.
When I is real tactful, the backpack waited and sat, debated.
It's best if she don't talk to Father.
Who's threatening her? It's about more than just Khalil. It's about black people, poor people, everybody at the bottom. I need to speak for him.
When you're ready to talk, you talk. Don't ever let nobody make you be quiet. I ain't named you Star by accident.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's a film which can actually give you a better understanding of social injustices and how to stand against them as well. But now, very quickly, I think what we need to do is that we need to talk about solutions and how to inculcate and make this society very inclusive of whatever rights I have. Everybody's got the same rights within the country. And I think that it's going to be a beautiful place. And this is what they say, that if social justice will continue to prevail within societies and communities, you know, it's going to eradicate poverty. So there might be some magic to it as well. So very quickly from Sidra, let's start talking about the solutions you have for all of those people out there.
First of all, I'll start from my household. I will make sure my son gets a degree of his choice, freedom of his degree.
Yep.
And I make sure that domestic...
What if he doesn't want to get a degree?
he can do whatever he wants to
Yeah,
do.
that's great.
He
Thank you
can
very
be,
much for
he
saying
can
that,
be an
yeah.
artist even he wants to do.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other
He's
thing,
like, Mom, I'm going to chill at home. Come on, let me chill. You know, so you earn whatever you want to do. I'm going to sleep and eat and repeat. That's
he must
it.
have freedoms of
Wow,
his choice.
that's good.
And the other thing, the domestic staff we are having, we are keeping in our own houses. We should pay them salaries on
Yes.
time. We should make justices at our own home. That's what we call social justice. There are no institution who will provide the social justice.
course.
It is within the house, and from the house, let's be a first brick in the wall.
And I think you very rightly use this line, there is no institution that is going to provide you social justice. It starts from within you.
Yeah.
Moving on to you, Fatma. Solutions, please.
I think a solution for providing social justice is that we should educate our children from primary level.
Yeah.
When they are studying in school, there must be some basic education related to rights and duties.
Yeah.
Right now, even I go to conduct trainings of professionals. They even don't know about their fundamental rights or constitutional rights which are available to them. So I think the main solution is that we should educate them from a very basic level that girls and boys are equal, okay, and law equally protect them. And when our children go in professional life, we should also teach them how to do justice with their colleagues and their fellows. So
Right.
I think we have to start with our children first, then we can think about society.
Agreed.
Exactly. Well, that's it. Sorry, sir.
School, colleges, universities, media, they can perform a good duty to educate the people what their rights are, not only the judiciary. And the second one, to give punishments to the criminals. Everything will be right.
No, for some, okay, let us be clear on this. For somebody who's doing some social injustice, is he or she labeled or categorized as a criminal?
It's to some extent, yeah.
To some extent?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. What about you, Saili?
Obviously, it starts at your home, it starts within yourself, but then there is responsibility of government, there is responsibility of people who are at the place of power.
Yeah.
You know, when they are making development plans, the center should be of common men. There should not be injustice in their development plans, and we have seen injustice in those. And you cannot, when there are some written constitution which is making everything unjust, you cannot proceed further with that, and you cannot accomplish anything. It's like, just when there is injustice, there is cruelty, and when there is cruelty, it's like a car without wheels. You cannot move forward like that.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and agreed with that. And you know, when you as a person think, okay, I played my part individually, I improved my life, and you know, stopped people from being, I don't want to, I mean, I don't know, bad with me in a larger perspective as well. This is just another example that came to me, and it happens so widely in our society as well. Shazad, I think you're going to agree with me, all of you too. If you're at a wedding function and a woman actually who's a widow, or either doesn't have a child, or is either divorced, if that woman wants to, you know, meet the bride or greet the bride and, you know, enjoy all the festivities, she is forbidden to, because apparently she's going to give out her negative energies and vibes to the new bride, and that's going to ruin her life. How unfortunate is that, first of all, for this thing, Shazad, to be divorced, or to, you know, for your spouse to be, you know, to pass away, for this to happen to someone, first of all, and then for people to treat her that way, that this was your fault, it happened to you, and we don't accept you as a part of our society.
Exactly. Thank you very much for saying that. So I'm, in a way, I've done what my producer wanted me to do, but there's one small message, ladies and gentlemen, before I head out, and that is that there's a very thin line in between being sane and being insane. Now, for what Shiza said, I partially agree to it, but I partially disagree as well.
Okay.
Because we really need to be aware of our culture,
Yes.
norms, values, and all of these things. And all of these things give us this very beautiful life which we are living right now, our religion, our people around us. But within all of this, when you think that there's social injustice, do not leap to a decision, do not jump towards a decision. What you really need to do is that you really need to think about it, be very sensible about it, and then take a decision, because we really do not want anybody to make a hasty decision, because hasty decisions will never let you end up anywhere in peace as well. So may it be a divorced lady at a wedding, may it be anybody else, or may it be any social justice within the community or within the society, ladies and gentlemen, we won't be able to have equality amongst each and every one as well. So please make sure that it's going to start from you every single day. If you're going to be fair with other people, people will be fair with you. That's the rule. That's it.
Absolutely. Simple as that. ladies and
Mikasa,
gents.
sukasa, sukasa, mikasa.
Simple as that. Thank you so much for being here. You guys were amazing as guests. Ladies and gentlemen, I really hope we gave out a lot of, impactful messages, because this is what the change this is the change we need, and it starts at a very personal level as well. If there's anything you need to write to us, please write on our Facebook page with the name of
World This Morning. It's on your television screens.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
YouTube.
It's PTB World.
And the repeat you can catch
5
at
past 11 p.m. tonight. Till the next time, 1, 2, 3. Good morning. Thank you.